Influence and Income. I am your host, Danielle Patterson Winningham, and today we're going to be talking about a somewhat taboo topic, which is women in ministry and their money. So for everybody checking in, whether this is your first time, welcome on Facebook, Periscope, and of course on my podcast on Spreaker, where you can carry me around with you. But today I have Prophetess Regina, and Prophetess Regina is one of my clients. And when she first came to me, being someone in ministry, it was different. Prophetess Regina, I'm going to go ahead and let you talk about your journey as someone in ministry and what you're always taught in ministry about getting paid for your gifts.
Absolutely. Thank you, Donnell Winningham. I love you to life. My mom, I tell her that she's my mom, and I love you to life. I just appreciate you so much. But like when I came to Donnell, most people know in ministry you're taught that you are to sow the seed for your gifts and your talents, but they fail to realize that you're worthy of your hire. So therefore you're supposed to be paid for what you do, not just with the chicken dinner or honorarium or with $5, but you're worthy of what God has given you. He's given you the ability to preach the word, to spread the gospel, to be the light, to show people, to inspire them, to encourage them, to uplift them. You do all of that preaching and teaching, and what do you get for it? No appreciation. Nobody even say thank you in ministry. So what I found out being here with Donnell, to come from behind the scenes, stop being used for my gifts and talents and start profiting from them, because I'm just being a doormat, and God doesn't want us to be a doormat for anyone. He hasn't called us to be that. He called us to infinite abundance. We are wealth and creation. But if we're not doing that, then we're not operating in a more excellent way. Then we're dishonoring God. We're being disobedient to God and to his purpose and passion that he has implemented within us. It's in our belly. He gave it to us in our belly. He birthed it there. So therefore, when he planted that seed in your belly for it to just harvest for that 9 months, it got to come forth. So when it comes forth, it's going to come forth like a gushing wind, like a mighty rushing wind coming forth. So you got to be paid for that gift, and you can't be trampled upon so that people could just take you for granted. You got to let them know the Bible gives us the blueprint of what we are to be doing and how we are supposed to be following it. And what I was doing today as I was studying, I'm always studying because I just get so excited. Y'all can see my excitement, of course. But abundance appears in the New King James Version 77 times. So just look at that alone. He's telling you how to get it. He's telling you how to get it. You have to use the wisdom and knowledge that he's giving you. If you look at every successful person in the Bible, they had wealth. Land, cattle, whatever the currency was in that day and time, he gave it to them. He allowed them to have it. Even when Job, the prime example, he had everything. But when he allowed the devil to tempt Job and take everything that he had, Job still would not forsake his father. He still knew that he was in infinite abundance. So therefore God replenished it and he gave it back. He could do the same for us. And women in ministry, we have to bind together and know what our worth is, know what our passion is, operate and walk in that. We are the light. We are the children of light. So we can't be in darkness and in lack. We have to break those poverty chains. We have to break those poverty mindsets as far as transformation. He said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So if you're not renewing your mind, then you're not being obedient.
Prophetess Regina, let's talk about the renewing of the mind, because you didn't get to this thought process by yourself.
No, ma'am.
You didn't get to this thought process by yourself. And one of the downfalls of women in general is we won't take that help that we need. We won't invest in that help that we need to get to a prosperous place. Even though the Bible talks about wise counsel, we won't take the help that we need in order to shift our mindsets, in order to renew our mindsets. We won't do it. And what it does from a business perspective is it causes us to continue to not be able to scale these businesses into prosperity. We have a business, we make a little money, but we're not able to scale that business. So it's critical that we get the assistance that we need. And let me tell you something. The the men in the ministry are not struggling at the same level that the women in the ministry are struggling. I need somebody to say amen. And if you haven't shared this broadcast, make sure you share. Hashtag shared in order to win a copy of this book, God Wants You Rich. Hashtag shared. Hashtag shared. Because men in the ministry are not struggling. T.D. Jakes is not struggling to monetize his gift. Joel Osteen is not, and I'm not mad at him. Keep it in mind that I feel like every person sharing the gospel of the kingdom of Jesus Christ should be paid and paid heavily, because you're the ones who are saving us from eternity. See, it's some people that's saving you here on earth, but there are some people that are saving you for eternity. And unfortunately, we're not getting the assistance that we need, and we're not able to put a dollar figure on that eternity help that we're getting from people like Regina. And so since people can't put a price tag on it, you've got to put a price tag on it for them. You've got to be taught to demand your worth.
Absolutely. And you know what? You have to be willing. You have to be willing. You can't just decree and declare and affirm that you're going to be prosperous. You got to be in action. So therefore, you have to invest in yourself. Get a coach. I had coaches before Coach Darnell, but they didn't give not one iota what Coach give us. I mean, you would never thought that I was shy and an introvert. She has brought me out of my closet and basically make me come from behind the scenes. I'm excellent behind the scenes, and I'm excellent when I'm preaching the word, but in front of other people, y'all can have that. But she has made me become more worthy of my wealth, to let me know that I am worthy. Even though you need that encouragement and you need that coach to be that flashlight. And Coach Darnell is that flashlight in the dark to help bring out your greatness, to push your greatness up. Just like they had the hope, we held their hands up in the Bible, she holds our hands up. She make us accountable to what we say, what we want. She make us think. She make us get into a mastermind group. We have a family here that don't hate on each other. We love on each other. We give each other wise counsel. Wise counsel. Even though you may take it wrong, but you can't come in here with your feelings on your sleeves, because it's not going to help you catapult you to your eagle or your queenship or your sonship that God has promised you to be. Nice. So therefore, you got to take that wise counsel. You got to put it in action, because it's one thing to get all the information. Like me, I'm guilty of it, and I had to beat myself. I watched Coach Darnell for a year. Got all her products, made everything. I got thousands of ebooks, but was afraid. I tell you, afraid to put it out there, because I was worried about what this was going to say, what that one was going to say. This one is not going to like me. They're not going to really recognize my gift. They're going to say no. They're going to, all the craziness. But she hushed that little voice in my head, okay? We had to shut that little voice down and tell that little voice, get thee behind me, because you don't have no power here. We have to just stand in our worth. We have to stand in our greatness. We have to stand and be the eagles that we are. We have to be the leaders that we are, because if we're not, then we're stagnated. We're being disobedient, and God does not honor disobedience. He wants you to be obedient in everything you do. Be thankful. See it before you actually walk in it. Praise God before you have it. I tell you guys, y'all would never think that I was in a wheelchair. Y'all would have never thought that I died 3 times. But I'm glory to God. And all this whole year going through coach's class, I've been to the emergency room about 10 times on stroke watch. But glory be to God that he's kept me, because he know I got a work to do. And I can't leave this earth until it's being fulfilled. So all of us come with an assignment, and we have to fulfill it before we leave this earth. But you got to know your work. You got to get a coach. It don't have to be Coach Darnell or myself, but you got to get somebody that's going to help you not make those detours and those pitfalls. Because I tell you, even you saying, okay, I made the mistake, but at least admit it to yourself. Look in the mirror. You made the mistake, baby. Let's start right here where you are. Let's move further in the right direction to gain your worth, to gain that wealth. Our bank accounts should not be zero.
They should not be. And you need somebody to lead you from the land of broke. Because some of you Some of you have sat in the land of broke for so long that you don't realize that that is not your lot. You have stayed in the land of serving everyone at the disservice of yourself. And again, it's not enough to declare and decree. I need you to put in hashtag charge. And there's a fine line. Here's the thing. If Reverend Johanna C. asked me to come and speak for Sunday service, there's a fine line. I may not charge Reverend Johanna C. for coming to speak at Sunday service. But if Reverend Johanna C. is having a conference and he's charging $200 and $300 at the door, you best believe that if Reverend Johanna C. can't tell me up front how much he's paying me, like he's going to do Bishop Jakes, like he's going to do Joel Osteen, like he's going to do Creflo Dollar, like he's going to do Benny Hinn, like he's going to do the rest of the boys. If you can't tell me how much you're going to pay me up front, and if you got a smart coach and you're going to a ministry, a body that has 1,000 members, they may say we don't have a budget, but your coach is going to teach you how to monetize it, even though you're not getting a check from them. See, your brain has got to be shifted. You've got to have a renewal of your mind. You cannot put new wine in an old wineskin. See, you was taught to minister. You were taught to support. You were taught to help. I'm going to teach you to charge. Because wait a minute. Let me show you what my goal is. Let's talk about it. Because my goal is not to get rich just to get rich. My goal is to serve 1 million people so I can make millions of dollars, so I can give millions away. When I walk by and I see a situation wrong in the community, do you know what helps it? Writing checks changes things. See, when you see other women in poverty and having the opportunity to be able to write a check to save them or send them to school or give them a scholarship. See, writing checks changes things. We can't keep talking. Hashtag charge in the chat. We can't keep talking about changing things. Warren Buffett, billionaire. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world. Warren Buffett says writing a check is the difference between a conversationalist and the committed. There's too many people talking about change and not enough folks writing checks. So why are we not writing checks? We're not writing checks because we're not in charge. Women are not in charge of the money. We do 3/4 of the world's work, but we only have 10% of the world's wealth and 1% of the world's land. That's a problem. So that's a pandemic. We are operating in a pandemic of women, ministry and outside of the ministry, that do not know how to value their worth, that do not know how to charge their worth without feeling guilty about somebody else's generational wealth. You should feel guilty about your own. If you're traveling all around this country, ministering the gospel for everybody, there is no reason for your bank account to be sitting on triple zeros, quadruple zeros, sextuplet zeros without a number in front of it. There's absolutely positively no reason. And sometimes that means that you need to humble yourself and get the help that you need to be able to transition from broken ministry to what abundance in ministry really looks like. It's your lot. It's your lot.
Absolutely.
So, and again, I don't see as many of the men struggling with it. I'm sure some of them do, because a lot of people have a connotation that gospel is free, and it is when I preach it on Sunday morning. But outside of that, guess what? Sometimes my vocation is my occupation. And when my vocation is my occupation, then what do? Somebody said, Coach, I keep running away from you, but the Lord keep turning me back to you. I think, wait a minute, this is what they wrote. I think I'm about to surrender. Girl, whether you do or whether you don't, and this is just being honest, that's between you and God. I told you guys the other day, there is no one here accidentally. There is no one here by accident. And I showed you guys the other day that I had a client signed up with me, $99 down, $99 a week for 12 weeks. Her first product launch, she got all her money back. And it's tax deductible. So you have a choice. You can either sign up and help you, or you can keep running from your abundance. But at some point, you got to say, at some point, you got to make sure you say, I'm going to do what I need to do to take care of me. And that's the truth. The Black Code starts November 9th. I have several women in ministry, music ministry, prophetess, evangelists, ministers that I've helped increase their income without alienating their flock. Your flock is not going to be alienated. Let me tell you who's going to talk about you for charging. Jealous people. People that's not part of your assignment anyway. Right. People who ain't even listening to you. People who are outside of your flock. It's going to be everybody talking about you, but the people that you minister to. The people that you minister to will not only submit to sowing a seed into you, but they will do it gladly. And see, you got to stop taking. We're not talking about if someone goes out to preach the gospel. We didn't say that. I said if I show up at Rem Joe Hennessy's church on Sunday morning, I'm going to preach for free. We're talking about all of the stuff that we do outside of that. See, don't come into my broadcast late and take what I'm saying out of context. See, I'm on a mission. See, you may have a ministry, but I do too. And my ministry is to get women out of poverty. See, I don't know about you, but I've been on my grind for about 7 years now. I do it a lot of times out of the greatness of my heart. But I make sure I still get paid so my family is not suffering out of my ministry. I make sure I monetize mine, but at the same time, I make sure I give some of it away. So don't come into my broadcast late as I work to help my fellow sisters not be in a homeless home, as I come to help my fellow sisters not have their cars repossessed. I've seen too many people preaching the gospel and in the dark. It's gotta stop. It's gotta stop. If you're blessing, even the word says you are blessed so that you may be a blessing. So you gotta make sure you know how to capitalize on your blessing. I am on a mission and you can't stop me for it. If you don't agree with what I say, the door is to your left, the door is to your right. Feel free to leave. But you're not going to keep letting all of the brothers get paid while my sisters who have to raise the children, while my sisters who have to take care of the parents, while my sisters go broke. I won't have it. Not on my watch. And if you don't like it, you can't tell me what's biblical. Let me take it up with Peter at the gate. If I'm wrong, let me take it up with Peter at the gate. You can't correct me. Why you telling me what I'm saying is not biblical? It's also not biblical to judge and correct. So get it right. And if you don't agree with what I say, you can hit the share button and go live with your own broadcast. And that's right. If the church can't be paid, The people in the community can't be paid. Women in the church body itself needs to learn how to monetize so that our communities are not so broken. Back when the church community was paid, the community was not so broken down. See, I need a shepherd. I need a shepherd that can show me that this is what kingdom abundance looks like. I need a shepherd that can show me. And I come here every day and I tell you, I pay cash for my daughter's tuition. I pay my mama's bills. I retired my mama off a job. I need a shepherd that can show me what God really has for me. You can't show me nothing if you're not living in the abundance of what the Bible says you should have.
Amen.
Charity say, I'm financially strapped because of helping folks who don't want to pay.
That's right. That's right.
You didn't have to open it in the first place. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, the funny thing is, when you go on your journey, guys, and this is proof, and that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. The funny thing is, when you go on your journey to help folks, it's going to be so many people with commentary about how you should teach, about what you should say, about how you should help. Go help somebody. How many people have you shifted out of poverty? I can say tens of thousands. I can say I've shifted tens of thousands of women from living on the brink of poverty to being able to afford their bills and being able to stay home with their kids and being able to pay cash for school and buy cars and get bigger houses. I have shifted tens of thousands of women. I have. So don't come tell me about me. Go talk to somebody else. And that's I'm just being honest. If I've shifted the women, if you don't like what I say, then that means you need to go somewhere else. But the numbers, the numbers, and I'm talking about women across the board, whether it's women in ministry or not. I'm talking about my sisters, whatever color they be. I'm talking about the women of the world, no matter where they live. We do 3/4 of the world's work. We have 10% of the world's wealth and 1% of the world's land. We are the face of poverty. And until something changes, when we're the face of poverty, what happens is our children are the face of poverty. The parents that we care for, they're the face of poverty. And it is as it is because we don't require that people pay us our worth. So whether you are a pastor, minister, deaconess, minister of music, evangelist, I don't care, prayer warrior, I don't care what you are. If you're serving others, if they can go to McDonald's and spend $20 on a Big Mac meal that's going to give them a heart attack, can't they pay $20 to you? If they're going to go to the mall and spend $300 on a pair of Air Jordans, can't they spend $300 for deliverance? I'm just being honest. Somebody said, how do I sign up? bit.ly/black code, BLAQ code. You got to come and get your deliverance. If you don't know how to move yourself into monetizing, let me help you. There's a thin line. I'm not saying you always charge. I'm not saying that. But you got to know when to charge. You got to know when to charge. Welcome to the Black Code, as y'all saw that. You got to know when to charge. And failure of knowing when to charge will cause you to be a disservice
to yourself.
You can leave, T. Parston, whoever you are, because I'm not finna do it no more. But it's a disservice to yourself. It's a disservice to yourself. You living out of the back of your car, but you don't want to charge anybody for the ministry that you've been given. And you sitting there and you know folks in ministry got private planes. You know folks got in ministries got chauffeur driven cars. You know folks in ministries is millionaires. So there's a blueprint that you use. There is a blueprint that you use. Reverend Juju, say that and be able to answer the question when someone asks you, how much is your speaking fee? How much is your appearance fee? And exactly, we pay these universities for pagan religion and bad history. We pay these universities for pagan religion and poorly accounted history. See, there's a difference between history and the past.
That's right.
Right? I'm reading this book by Andy Andrews called How Do You Kill 11 Million People? And he talked about how Hitler, with very, very few soldiers, was able to kill not just all those Jewish people. He killed a lot of people, period. And nobody says how he was able to do it, but he lied to the people. He told the people a lie. And the bottom line is too many people believed it. And even when the lie didn't add up, people kept believing it. So let me bring it around. We've been lied to about our generational wealth. Somebody hashtag it's a lie. We've been lied to about our ability to change our worth. Somebody hashtag it's a lie. We've been lied to about what we do with our time and our energy. Hashtag it's a lie. And so when I come on here to clear the lie up, because see, I'm living the truth. Hello? You got folks telling me, don't be telling these women, pastors and stuff to charge, but you ain't said nothing to the men. Get away from me. It's a lie. Back to you, Prophetess Regina. I know you want to get in here. Let me tell you something. I'm not a play coach. I'm a real coach. Women have been lied to about their worth and their value for the last 1,000 years. I'm here to clear up the lie. I'm here to clear it up. Now, if you want to do something about the lie, seek me out. Get some help. Or keep living the lie. It's up to you. But I'm going to keep singing from the top. I feel like Moses sometime when he came down with them pillars. And on the pillar on my right says you don't have to be broke. And my pillar on my left says charge your worth. I ain't got the two rules. Your two hands are enough. You don't have to be broke. Charge your worth. They pay for everything else. Go ahead, Prophetess Regina. They ran me hot.
And you know what? You're absolutely correct, Coach. You know, people always trying to tell you what is correct and what is not correct. And they haven't read anything. They haven't invested anything. They haven't renewed their mind. They don't even ask God for thanks. They keep withdrawing from the bank without making a deposit. God is not pleased with that. First of all, like you said, the men in ministry are not struggling. Matter of fact, the women are the ones that are helping them build them up. So, of course, they need us to help them on. That's why God sent the helpmate. Hello.
But you know what? Dr. Thomas Staley talks about that. There's a book called The Millionaire Next Door. And he talks about why there's such a disconnect between the number of male millionaires versus the number of female millionaires. And the number of male millionaires is disproportionate because the male only has to focus on his $1 million journey. And while I'm on my $1 million journey, I got to worry about what Hope, Faith, and Tyler are doing. I need to worry about going back and forth to the hospital to see my mom. I got to worry about sending my auntie a little piece of money, my little uncle a piece of money. I got to worry about the family tree. I don't have that same opportunity to focus. So what I teach women is how to manage your time, set those boundaries so you can really go get your money. What I teach women is how to monetize when possible and how to maximize your monetization. So when it's time to get your money, you can. And when it's time to be with your family, you can.
Absolutely. And you have to be there. Women in ministry have a lot on their shoulders. They have to take care of their kids. And don't let your children have a special need, or either they need special schooling. Like you said, I was able to stay home with my son. He was disabled. He had over 16 surgeries before he was 12 years old. So just imagine your baby being born and he has to have surgery at 3 days old, not determine whether he's going to live or not. The doctor saying he's not going to live past 5. So that's a testimony. That's a walking testimony to me as well as to the community. So yes, I'm on a mission. Yes, I'm a different kind of preacher. I'm going to let you know the true gospel, what it is, what the Bible say, okay? I'm going to reveal what God revealed to me. Okay, yes, I ran for ministry a long time ago. However, I couldn't run from God keep running because it was in my lineage. It was part of my legacy. So I had no opportunity, no other choice but to follow the path. And I'm glad I did because my heart, when I think about the goodness of Jesus and all he's done for me and my family, Lord have mercy. We saw a car accident driving here to Atlanta today. It was a 3-car accident. And you know what? Thank God we didn't see any people dead. But look at the accident. They should have been dead. So God has favor and blessed us with mercy every day. He allows us to breathe. We don't even have to think about breathing. We don't even have to think about our heart beating. He gives us that. That's how magnificent and omniscient God is. And you won't do nothing about the gift that he gave you. It's in your hands. He has given it to you. It's in your mind. He has given you the ability to think and grow rich. That's what it's all about. Think and grow rich. About wealth and creation. When God thought about it in his mind, it came to pass. So we got to bring it into fruition, and what we visualize, we materialize, and we bring it into manifestation. So if you're not operating in those laws, in the universal laws, then you're also negating the biblical laws. So then you can't say you accept both of them. Without having one, you have to have both of them, like peanut butter and jelly. There's no other terms that I can keep it as simple as that. Only God that your children know until they know God for themselves. But you got to lay that foundation. And if you don't have it, how are you going to give it to somebody else? That's why we have all these 12 and 10. That's why they're on drugs at an early age. Because we haven't been on our mission. We don't have a community. And women, we're the best community that for each other than anything else. And we have to get together. We got to be on this movement. We got to lock arms like the men do. We have to be on this mission without a cause by any means necessary. Like she said, not on my watch will I see another child without being able to eat, not having enough on that when it's cold outside, not being an example in my community, not having a voice to let everybody know what's available to them,
and Prophetess,
putting them in the right direction.
And it takes money. And it takes money.
That's right.
It takes money. And guys, we can't keep running the jobs to get it, leaving these children abandoned in these homes. We can't keep doing it. We can't keep doing it. We can't keep leaving these kids at home by themselves, being raised by gangs and other kids in the community while we run after a check that's not even going to pay all the bills. We've got to find another way. And that other way is using what is in your two hands to build your generational wealth and your legacy. And that's right, Latrice. Absolutely. You can't be a blessing to no one, including yourself, if you're broke. Who can you bless? Who can you bless out of lack? The answer to that, if you're not good at math, is nobody. Because math is 0 minus 0. 0 minus 0 equals 0. So if you got 0, you can't give 0 to nobody because y'all both gonna have 0. Hey, look, I know I used to work at the bank, But you don't even need a bank experience to understand that we can't heal these communities with no money. Each and every one of us should not only have wealth for today, we should have generational wealth. And if you don't have it, it's because you don't know how to create it. You need an education on creating it. Stop selling yourself short. You don't know what you don't know. I promise you. There's so many small shifts that you can make in what you're doing right now in your ministerial career. Just small shifts that people won't even barely notice. That will be the difference between you getting paid and not getting paid. Just small mindset shifts, small shifts in business, small shifts in the way you operate. You see them out there for years and they're doing a wonderful work, but they're not at the level that their male counterparts. And you got to ask yourself why. And it's simply the education. It's simply the education. That's it. Not on my watch though. Hashtag shift. It's time. It's time for you to shift yourself. No one's going to shift you. No one's going to shift you. And the first piece of that is recognizing that you need the shift. Hashtag I need in the chat. Hashtag I need is the chat in the chat. Hashtag I need. Because that is us humbling ourselves to say, I need help. I need to invest in myself. I need a different mindset. I need to be able to climb out of where I am into the next space. I need support. I need to grow my revenue so I can take care of my family. I need generational wealth. I need a way out for this job. I need a way to create a legacy. I need a check. Hashtag I need. And we've got to stop. And I need support. And that's one thing about us. Prophetess Regina said it. We are a community. We are a community. We leverage each other. We support each other. We follow each other. We cheer for each other. It's no mess over here. And yes, there are men in the community, David asked. But we've got to stop playing. We got to stop playing small. Someone, I talked to a new client on the phone today. She said, Coach, I'm going to be honest. I'm scared because I know you're going to push me. But I know the place you're pushing me to is somewhere I need to go. I need you to move. I need you to come into the community. I need you to invest in yourself. I need you to understand this is why for the entire month of November, we're working on vision. The entire month of November, we're working on giving thanks in advance. Giving thanks in advance. And a creative group, I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about preventive health. We're talking about women in ministry. I need you to go live with your own broadcast, or I need you to get with this program. It's up to you. You're welcome here, but what you won't do is take away from the topic. Yeah, because this is my ministry. I'm on fire now. Just that's your shots fired. That's a warning shot. Y'all saw that right? That's a warning shot. Y'all saw that right? Oh, okay. That was a warning shot. I saw you do it 2-3 times. I let you make it. I thought that if I let you make it, you would stop. You didn't. There's a warning shot. Okay. Right. But the bottom line is, guys, we've got to draw a line in the sand. You've got to draw a line in the sand and say no more. Hashtag no more. And when you get officially tired, you will do something different. It's not going to change automatically. It's not going to change on its own unless you're deliberate about you changing your generational wealth. Hashtag no more. And it's not going to change. It's not going to change. So for the entire month of November, 6:30-ish every morning, we're going to be thanking him in advance for what he's already done for you. He's already given you $1 million ideas. He's already given you $1 million talents. He's already given you $1 million charisma and $1 million intellect and $1 million connections. How dare you not use them? How dare hashtag millions? How dare you not use them? Stop sitting to the side while everybody else cashes in their check. Let me tell you something, and then I'll let Prophetess Regina close us out. It's one thing certain and two things sure. If I had to do anything different in my whole career, it would have been recognizing early just how valuable what God has given us. We all make withdrawals from the same bank account. I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute. We all make withdrawals from the same bank account. Now, here's where it comes in. You fill out your withdrawal slip, and the only number you can put on your withdrawal slip is the number for which you have faith that God can deliver to you. It's about to get deep. I need you to keep up. Look at your neighbor and say, keep up. Oprah is withdrawing from the same bank account as you. Bill Gates, Beyonce, same bank account as you. Warren Buffett, same bank account as you. And what that means is you got to look at the withdrawal slip. What are you believing God for? Because you can't withdraw any more out of the First Christ savings and loan than you're believing him for. So faith are those things that are not here yet, but you're believing God. Can I tell y'all something amazing? This ain't even bragging. I was on a call today. I was on one call for 15 minutes. And I asked God to expand my territory. Bring me the people that, and the Lord told me a long time ago, he said, take care of my people and I'll take care of you. And I was on a call today, and in 15 minutes, I was offered one deal that has the potential to make me $250,000 to $500,000 in 3 hours.
Glory.
I'm not telling you none of that to brag. I'm telling you that when I wrote it on paper the other day, also Visa, you know it. See, I always got to have somebody that can back Coach up and say, Coach ain't lying. Because as soon as I got off the call, I called Alto V's. And I said, Alto V's, she knew the call was set up. She knew who the person was to set the call up. She knew what the potential was. And so when I got off the call, and then Tequila was right next to me and heard all the numbers. I always got to have somebody to back Coach up. I always got to have somebody to back. So when the numbers got run down, and then the person said, and guess what? This is just for 3 hours. Let me tell you what your coach did. Your coach walked in it like it was mine.
That's right.
Your coach walked in it. I walked in the conversation like it was mine. I walked in the conversation like I owned it. I walked into that interview like whose child I really was. I walked into that conversation like I deserved it. I worked into that conversation like I'd worked for it. And when it was all said and done, when you know God has assigned something to your bank account, when you know God has assigned something to your bank account, it won't be no fear there. There will be no fear there. You'll act like it was yours all along, because it ain't confidence, it's Godfidence. And I acted like it was mine all along. I was myself. I was laid back. I didn't have the least bit of fear because I know what I believe in God for. Don't you start crying out to V's, because I'm going to start crying. I know what I'm believing God for.
Right.
So whether these numbers come to pass or not, Sometimes God is just showing you I'm still who I say I am. Amen. Sometimes he's telling you that I see what you're doing in the world. Sometimes it's him telling you, hold on, my good and faithful servant. You're not working in vain. And even as you struggle to keep your prices affordable for the people who need to go, I'm going to send you the people who can afford what you're worth. I struggle with that. I struggle with that because I was created to take people with me. I was created to come and get people from where they are. And so even as other coaches are charging 4 and 5 times what I charge and not giving, we're not going to go there, and not giving half or even 10% of what I sow into my people, I stay the course. I stay steady. And so today God said, I see you. And I'm going to reward you. And this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It's deep. It's deep. It's deep. It's deep. I hadn't even, before I told y'all, I hadn't even told anybody but 2 people. Tequila knew. And thank you, Pastor Tommy. And Alto V's knew. But I stay the course because I believe in you. I stay the course because I know you're capable. I stay the course because I know it just takes time. You've been hurt. You've been in this space for a long time. You believed in other people. They didn't come through. Prophetess Regina says she watched me for a year. Chanel says she watched me 3 years. Every day I find somebody that's been watching. And I've been telling y'all, this is the time to play. It's time for you to come out of the stands. It's time for you to go on this trip. It's time for you to go on this journey. Ooh, it's been a day. It's been a day. Prophetess Regina, don't dry your eyes, boo. Thank you, Cheryl. Welcome. See, Cheryl, let me tell you, I tell people that's been watching me a year, if you saw how much money I made in the last year, if you saw how much money my clients have made in the last year, at some point you got to say to yourself, let me get on board. If your life, exactly, truly pure, let me tell you, it happens all the time, sis. But here's what I say about that. And there's a book I need you to read called The Energy of Money by Maria Nema. And in that book, she talks about how she lost money on a bad deal. Until you can let that money go, that money only hurts you. It doesn't hurt that coach. And then this is the hard part. This is the hard part. And I know a lot of people ain't gonna like what I say, but I gotta say it. The hard part is you gotta ask, where was your discernment? That's the hard part. The hard part, you got to say to yourself, hey, Asia, you got to say to yourself, what did they tell me that made me turn my discernment off and follow them? Even in my heart of hearts, if I knew something was off. Because the Holy Spirit is always at work. If we let him. Now, if we tell him to go sit down somewhere, he'll go sit down somewhere. But every mistake that I've made in my life, there was this small, still voice that was telling me, don't do it. Reconsider. Read some literature. It was a small, still voice that was telling me, don't do it. And it was something in my spirit, whether it was my greed, my emotions, my excitement. See, people, they train for this. They train for this. And so at the end of the day, you can't beat yourself up for it. You got to say, I don't want to lose. See, because that's the enemy's job. The enemy's job is to put that bait out there so you choose the wrong thing. And then when you get burnt, when the right thing comes along, You delay your entrance because you've been burnt. It only hurts you. It doesn't hurt that person. They gone on with your money, about your business. You better come over here and learn how to make some more. And that's basically what it boils down to. So, Prophetess Regina, what would you say was the hardest lesson that you had to learn from me?
The hardest lesson was to forgive myself and to forgive the other people that took advantage of me. And the fact that I stopped my own success, that I had the power, and I took back my power because I wanted to be empathetic for other people. I didn't want to make any waves. I just wanted to have peace and just believe the lies. So you brought me out of that dark space, and brought me to know that I could do better. Not only that, Coach, you have sowed so many seeds in my life that it's affected my whole family. My husband now is doing business with me, and that's a blessing to have your mate with you, to push you up, to hold you up, and to have their own inventive ideas. He's like, oh, she sounds good. I like her.
Coach being everybody's house. Great. Coach being, let me tell you, when we be at the conference and I see kids walking by me 5 and 6, and they say, hey, Coach, that's legacy to me. That's legacy to me. When the kids sat in summer school this summer and learned how to make money, and I was getting videos of 6 and 7-year-olds out selling popsicles, that's legacy to me. That's why I do this. I do. And here's what it boils down to, guys. It's not necessarily easy. It's not necessarily easy, but it's easier. It's easier than struggling financially. It's easier than working a job. It's easier than not being paid. It's easier. You know, even the Bible says you can't serve two masters, broke or abundance. You have to choose. You have to choose. So at the end of the day, you have to say, which will I serve? Which will I serve? Which is my calling? And we had to do this the way we did it today. And I see the devil try to rear his ugly head. But me and Prophetess Regina have come to this conclusion about women in ministry and them not charging their worth. And it's one of the things that have to change. We can't have the people that are saving us struggling financially. Baby, Pastor Tommy, I need you worried about my spiritual well-being. I don't need you worried about your bank account. For Prophetess Regina, I need to worry about her being able to pray over me. I don't need her worried about the light bill. You know, we just need everybody in position for this next journey. And if our spiritual leaders and our spiritual covering is busy struggling financially, we're not covered. You'll catch that one soon. If our spiritual leaders and our spiritual covering doesn't have financial peace, and they're trying to worry about how they're gonna piece it all together, where is our covering? If you don't want patches in your roof, you don't want patches in your spiritual leadership. You want to make sure they're covered. You want to make sure they're whole. And one of the ways I do this is I teach them. I teach them the difference. Prophetess Regina, tell them how they can get in touch with you.
Y'all can follow me on social media, Facebook, Prophetess Regina Turner, my business page, Regina A. Turner, Dr. Regina A. Turner, the Financial Empowerment Maven Strategist, on Instagram, Financial Empowerment Maven, and on Twitter and Periscope, Dr. Regina A. Turner, your Financial Empowerment Maven Strategist. And I really appreciate you, Coach. And everybody's listening, if anyone hasn't told you today, God loves you and so do I. And there is absolutely nothing you can do about it, and not on my watch. Women in ministry, I'm coming for you, or you come and find me, because we're going to change the world and let them know our worth. And just invest in yourself. That's all I ask. Just invest in yourself and know that you are worthy of it. You deserve it. God has promised it to you. His word will not fall to the ground void. He will always fulfill his word all the time. I'm a living witness of that. So just invest in yourself.
Guys, and the Black Code starts November 9th. If you haven't seen it already, we've had single mothers who, they talked about how they 3x their income so they can stay at home with their children. We've talked to people who are couples in business and supporting each other. We talking to somebody in ministry. We talked to one of my clients who hadn't been in business but 6 months and already made back their investment and then some. And then some. Guys, there's money in the land. God made provisions for each and every one of us. The question is, will you go out into the land and harvest your provisions? And if you don't know what tools to use, if you don't know what tractor, if you don't know what shovel, if you don't know what hoe to use, in order to be able to harvest your greatness, that's where I come in. bit.ly/black, BLAQ code. Join us for the entire month of November. We're going to be celebrating what God has done for us in advance. And the Black Code starts November 9th. And guys, if you have any questions, reach out to me. But this is a harvest month.
Yes.
This is a month known for harvesting. This is the month of the cornucopia. This is the month of the harvest feast. This is the month where everything that you've put out into the world, you can expect it to come back this month. It's time for you to do the right things to prepare yourself. See, a farmer don't just say, well, the harvest is in. You got to do things to prepare yourself for prosperity. Love you guys. I'll see you guys later. Bye, fam.